There are times I just get it out of the bag, have a look at it and go, I'm lucky to have it. I love the scroll work on the metal work, it's fantastic, and the woodwork on it is just sensational.
When you do take it on a shoot, people do ask questions. They come approach, say, oh, what's that? Is that a Longthorne?
It was the engineering. I just loved the way they were made, and a true English shotgun.
What Longthorne has found, I think that it's kind of the dawn of a new day, and I think that it's going to be something that's going to be very interesting to see where this goes in another 10 years and the developments that come out of it, because it gives you a whole new way to think about designing and building that shotgun, speccing it out.
We've been involved in precision engineering for a long time, and the original engineering company was formed in 1989 when we moved to Australia. When we were in Australia, we did a lot of precision manufacturing of injection mold tools and press tools. I wanted a new challenge in my life. I thought subcontracting wasn't difficult enough, and we decided that we would look at making our own shotgun. I probably chose the hardest way to do it. We looked at the conventional way of making shotgun barrels, and a conventional barrel would have been soldered together, welded together, glued together in some cases. Coming from a background where 5 microns is something that you measure every single day, and you aim for tolerances smaller than that, and to give you an idea, 5 microns, a piece of hair, an average piece of human hair is 80 microns. And so I'm looking at this thing going, yeah, but there's no way it could be right. I sat down in front of the computer with the guy that was making this barrel for, and I said, it's simple. We'll just make it from one piece. We'll just make it like that. It's simple. I think we just grew into it, and it was, the more we got into it, the more you realize that it was difficult, and the reason that people didn't do it was because it was too hard. I think we bought 32 pieces of material once we decided we were doing this. We ended up with 1 piece out of the 32 that was actually a good barrel.
I've certainly had a Longthorne for, I'm guessing, nearly the very first ones. I saw the advert, I think it was a prize win in one of the Shooting Times or whatever magazines, and the engineering appealed to me. The way the barrels are made from one piece of steel. The gun trade for many, many years had either soft-soldered, brazed, hard-soldered barrels together, but as soon as you induce heat into a gun anywhere, the steel is going to distort, even low grade. And Jim's demonstration of standing either end of the barrels on a piece of wood and jumping up and down in the middle doing a trampoline effect was something of an eye-opener.
No one else does it in the way that we do it, and it's very beneficial to making the shotgun in the first place. We can get the barrels really close together, which means the recoil is very linear, so you do get less muzzle flip. And there's also no chance of the ribs falling off or the barrels coming apart, so the longevity of the barrels is built in.
I was questioned by a guy in the States one day. He's picking up all the guns, and they're all different weights and different lengths and different everything about them. And he said, why do all your guns feel good, even though they're all different? And I answered the question in an engineering way, and I said, oh, it's all about the radius of gyration and the moment of inertia. He said, well, actually, it's more about the moment of inertia. And I thought, well, here we go. I've got somebody that knows what they're talking about. And I said, you're actually right, sir. It is the moment of inertia that makes it feel different. I said, the radius of gyration helps a little bit. And he says, yes. Well, how did you get it right? He said, because every one of these guns feels right. And I said, well, there's only one way you can ever do that. And that's you make it by hand and then copy it.
The parts are machined, but they are still hand fitted. So for example, the side locks going into a side lock action, they're still let in by hand to get that perfect fitment in them and polished in before they're heat treated. And anything that's gold is still inlaid by hand, and they're still fitted and built by hand, each individual one.
Because humans are really, really accurate at measuring things. We don't know that we are, but we are. We pick up things. Even if the grip of a pistol or a cup, and you pick up one cup and you pick up another cup, and one will feel nice and one will feel horrible. And we don't know that. We're measuring it, and we're measuring its usefulness or its uniformity or whatever. And so what we had to do was try and find out why it felt good. In my mind, that's what we've done, is we've taken something that was immeasurable found out why, and then measured it and then repeated it. That's what we plan to do with everything that we ever do, is make it feel good and then know why.
We'll start with a stock that's slightly bigger than generally what a person would have, and Jim will do a gun fit on them and take that stock down and the grip down to exactly what the customer needs and wants.
What's unique about Longthorne is the barrel and the barrel technology. That's a one-piece machined barrel, and that is unique to Longthorne, which is what drove me for wanting one. I also wanted a game gun, which is inherently lighter. The stocks are smaller, they're thinner, and the barrel top ribs are narrower. And the Longthorne is a very able, very quick manoeuvring gun, and it works faultlessly, and that's what I wanted. I wanted an English shotgun with lovely woodwork, and the woodwork in here, and you'll see with the guns behind me, it's absolutely fantastic. It's world class in the level of woodworking furniture that Jim's got and brings into Longthorne. I like the good look and the feel of the gun and the quality of the craftsmanship that's gone into it.
The way it shoots, the way the gun fits, I do think it's an advantage. Just the way it's manufactured, especially the barrels, the strength and how accurate they are. There's not a lot which can go wrong, and I've got a lot of faith in the gun with the manufacturing processes it goes through.
One of the main differences between ourselves and other gun manufacturers is that we produce every single component for these guns in-house.
With our capabilities within the factory, we can make pretty much whatever you want, or whatever someone can dream up, we can design it, make it and finish it.
We literally make every single component. We make the springs, we make the screws, we make all the metal parts, obviously we make the barrels from one piece of metal. It's allowed us to develop new products. Like going forward, we've got new things that we're designing that we've not done before. So one of our customers asked us, could we make 33-inch barrels? Well, we've never made 33-inch barrels before because traditionally they get too heavy. By using technology, we can change the way things are made. And so now you can pick up one of our Peregrine guns that weighs 8.5 pounds and a traditional gun that weighs 8.5 pounds, traditionally made gun, and they feel completely different. And I think that's what's very, very unique about Longthorne, and the whole approach of the whole Longthorne team is we don't know we can't, so let's do it.
This is actually my second time that I've gotten to shoot a Longthorne shotgun, and I think the first thing that you notice about them right away, straight off, is they're beautiful. They look the part. But then you can start getting into the nuances of the build and the design. Today I've shot two different models with two dynamically different handling characteristics, and I think that's a very interesting thing to be able to offer. Most target guns feel like they're almost all kind of cut from the same cloth. The guns handle in a very similar way, and that's just the way that you get used to shooting that gun. You program yourself that's what a target gun is supposed to feel like. That's the level of liveliness that those barrels are supposed to have. But when you actually get to experience a few different designs, 2 or 3 different specs, you really can feel the difference in how that allows you to approach the target. And that's not something you get to do when you pick up 3 different similarly built, similarly spec'd, similarly weight distribution shotguns, target shotguns. And I think Longthorne, is the only place that I'm seeing that really opens up that door to where you have several different configurations to work with and to pick from.
Certainly say the most rewarding element for a job is boxing up that gun, finally finished, being happy with it, and then giving it to a customer. And then maybe a year later, a customer comes back for a service and they go, I've absolutely loved it. I've really enjoyed shooting it. I think it's really nice to get to know the customers in that way, because then you understand that everyone comes from completely different walks of life. Generally, some people shoot exclusively clays, some people shoot exclusively game. Those people have come from such a wide range of professions or areas or any of those different things. It's interesting to see. It's kind of a melting pot for people who are passionate about the gun.
I think one of the greatest things about it has been being able to make something. Not only are you proud of it, and the guys are proud of it when they've done it, we get to make a finished product. And we subcontracted for many, many years where we would make widgets that went into bigger widgets, and that you would never know where it went and what it did or anything like that. This allows you to express yourself in a solid object that's going to become history. These guns will become heirloom pieces, and I like the artistic side of it. I like to be able to create something that has a feel about it. And I know when we first started, everyone said, oh, it'll be a machine-made gun, it'll have no soul and it'll have no feel to it and it has nothing and all these kind of things. And yet they do.
The last gun that went out is always the best gun. It's always getting better. Everything we do as we're going through the process, we're always trying to improve and make everything better. And then the only problem is with doing it every day is you stop seeing, wow, that's such a beautiful gun. You start seeing, oh, there's a tiny little bit there and a tiny little bit there and a tiny little bit there. And it's a never-ending process of going through it and nitpicking, basically.
We had a conversation with an engraver one day, and we were chatting about the engraving, and his explanation of the engraving was the engraving becomes a picture made up of elements that you managed to put in there and you wanted to put in there, joined together by the mistakes that you made while you were doing it. Perfection is unachievable. Being a pragmatic perfectionist is much more achievable. Can you make it better? Will it be measurable? Will it be beneficial? Probably no. But will we keep trying? Of course we will. Because there's always going to be something that you will think that you can achieve better. And I think that's the way you end up with something that is better than the best. It's because we're not saying that's the best right now. But we are saying we'll always keep it the best and we'll always make it better. We're not limited by we think we're the best at what we do. And I think if you stay on that level where your ego doesn't take over and you tell everybody that we have done the best and that's the best it'll ever be, I think it allows us to grow in a much better way. I don't feel like it's been 15 years. I feel like it was yesterday. I'm happy with what we've produced and I'm happy with what we've achieved. I feel we can achieve more and I feel there's a lot more to be done. We've got this far because of the support of our customers. We've got some fantastic customers who we've become good friends with and probably wouldn't do it again. I say that, but I've got another 15 years to go, so I'm still going to carry on and do the same thing. I mean, if it all fell in a heap tomorrow, I've been asked this question, what would you do if you retired? I would buy some machines and start making guns. What do you think I would do? I like making guns. I mean, the gun thing is a good thing to be involved in because it's just endless possibilities of what you can make. There are no limits to what I can design, and nobody can tell me it's wrong unless it doesn't work. And then I'll make sure it works, so then it doesn't matter. We can design and make anything that we want to in the world. I think I don't see the world in the same way that everybody else sees the world. I look at it and I don't see it to be I see it to be a challenge, but not an insurmountable challenge. It's not something that, like, people climb mountains because they think they can. And I think the mountain that we've climbed with making our own guns and coming up with a range of guns in an industry that's basically got closed doors to anybody that's not grown up in the industry is because I didn't know I couldn't. Nobody told me I can't. You need to be always trying to be something different, not for the sake of being different, but for the sake of being better. If you're just doing it to be different, that's not an answer. But if you're doing it that you think you can make it better, and there can be improvements that should be made, go for it and try and change it. That's what we do.